one thing that I don't think that we really ever talked that much about was your introduction into just strength training in general, where I saw in one of your Instagram posts, you were talking about when you were 18 years old in your parents' basement gym. You know, you read somewhere, go heavy or go home. You know, I assume that you might have been training. Were you training before that at all?
Athletically.
Yeah. But
you know, I got introduced to weights a little tiny bit through my 8th grade, football coach and that kind of thing, but nothing structured.
Yeah. So you wrote that on the wall, right? Yeah. And then you also wrote a phrase from Corinthians, right? 9:24.
Yeah.
They that run a race run all, right? So I get the go heavy, you know, or whatever, go heavy or go home. I mean, we all saw that when we were younger, you know, I kind of get that.
Mine said go big or get out, I think I wrote.
There was a bunch
get big
of those,
or get out,
little stupid ones
body.
like that. So I assume
I still have that sign.
Yeah, well, it's a little different. You changed it, you know, where now you still have that original.
I have it, yeah.
Oh, really? And you have it in your gym now?
It's in my home. My gym's in my garage now, but it's still in the home, right where it always was, in the basement.
So first off, why did you write the Corinthians?
Well, to finish out that it's they that run a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. Run your race that ye may obtain. So it's about everybody is in the race. Everybody's trying, but only one person gets to win the race. So you should run with the intention to win. They that run a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. Run thy race that ye may obtain. Means go for it. Simply go all in. Run to win, not to just race. And so it sort of is a little antithetical to some of the ideas about, everybody's a participant, and but in the world that I grew up in, and that is competitive athletics, participation gets no reward. Only winning gets a reward, and there's only one winner, and second place is irrelevant. And that's not necessarily the way I look at life or competitive athletics now, but it certainly was at one time.
No, that's
made
why
a lot of sense to me.
It
made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, when we go way back, you know, what was it? Sports that kind of drove you into the basement to train, or what brought you to it?
Yeah, so I started with sports, and then I got disillusioned with sports because I was involved in team sports. And I remember sitting in game films day after we played and lost. And in game films, the line coach and every coach goes over their players and tells them what they did right and what they did wrong. Every time you screw up, everybody else sees it in game films, and you get yelled at. And so we'd go through this, and of course, I was doing my job. I wasn't making mistakes. I was beating my man, and nobody was yelling at me. And we're losing, but I'm doing my job. And not that I'm a prima donna or anything, but I got tired of my outcome, winning and losing, being dependent on other people doing their job. But that's what a team sport is. But when I was young, I got fed up with, why doesn't everybody else do their job? I'm doing my job. And then I didn't get a holier than thou attitude, but I got this, that I don't think I want to do team sports anymore. So that was when the introduction to weights happened. But I loved the weights, and I got hurt my freshman year of football in high school, and I had a knee surgery, and I went in to rehabilitate it, and I went to a local Nautilus place because they had a leg extension machine. And they taught me this protocol. You come in and you do one set to failure. If you can do 12 reps or more, then the weight was too light, so you needed to add 5 pounds, or 2.5 pounds actually. And if you couldn't do 8, it was too heavy. So it had a structure to it that you want to fail, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12. If you get 13, you got to go up next workout. And if you can't get 8, you're not strong enough for that weight. Very structured. And so I was making plenty of progress, getting stronger, putting my 2.5 pounds on, getting 12. And you would start out when you moved up getting 8 or 9. And you'd get 10 or 11, and you'd get 12 or 13, and then you get to move up. So within this was a slow progression of adding repetitions. And if this sounds familiar, it's something that I do, that I did in my training. So, and it made sense, and it worked, and it was the thing that I said to the person that was helping me. I said, so when's this run out? When does this stop? And they're like, what do you mean? And I go, when do I stop getting stronger? And they said, you don't. And I said, you mean I can just get as strong as I want to? And all I got to do is come in, do as many reps as I can. And if I get 12, I get to put on 2.5 more pounds. And if I get 9, I have to go for 10. And they're like, yeah, you can get as strong as you want to be. And that was it. That's when sports wasn't as important as being strong. And that's when it changed for me, was to think, man, I could be as strong as I want to be. Is this all I have to do? Is just come in and bust my ass?
So that would have put you, what, like 14, 15?
Yeah, about 15.
Yeah,
15 is when I had my knee surgery, yeah.
Okay. And then, so is that where
So then bodybuilding became the focus, And I had a little bit of an application for sports. I did 3 sports in college, and but they weren't going to take me anywhere. They did give me a scholarship though. I had a scholarship for cheerleading.
Yeah.
I used to throw girls around.
Yeah.
And that was good. You got to be strong for that. So they were complimentary, getting stronger and stronger, throwing the girls higher and higher, doing more tricks. And that was good. And I played soccer for a year because we didn't have any people on the soccer team, and there was room. So I loved athletics too. And then 1 year I did track and field, threw the shot and discus and javelin. So that was fun in college. But it was a big jump from high school to college.
How'd you like the track and field compared to the other team sports? Because yes, it's a team sport, but
it
it's
isn't.
not.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. The problem was I went to a place called Youngstown State University, and when I got there out of high school, there was no track team. And then right before I graduated as a senior, they had a track team. So I lost 3 years of development going from, throwing a 12-pound shot to a 16-pound shot. And that's hard. And then I tried to learn to spin, and that's hard. And I ran out of time. So I had 1 season, and I was trying to compete and learn, and it didn't go great, but it was fun, but I didn't excel at it.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the competition, and but it didn't take me anywhere.
Yeah, my football.
But for throwing, you get lifting.
Yeah, I threw in junior high.
Okay, yeah, me too. Yeah.
My story is a little bit the same in a way, where with football and the other team sports, more so after I started weight training, so I started weight training at 13, so it was a younger age, but I loved wrestling.
Yeah.
Team sport, but
we didn't have it.
Right. I love that because my work output determined my result in my head.
Yeah.
Football had the same experience. It's like, come on, man, I'm busting my ass. I'm putting everything I have into this, but half the people aren't. It drove me insane. Now I stuck with it the whole time because, my parents and the pressure to stick with it, not quit and all this other kind of stuff. But powerlifting was always there, since I was young. And that's where I love that individual aspect. Granted, team sports, as you said, are team sports.
They are.
But I often wonder if, a lot of the people that move their way through strength sports kind of all seem to have that thing that kind of targets them more to that individual sport background. It's changed somewhat over the popularity of powerlifting in the past 10 years, where more team sport people are coming in that generally weren't there before. Like I said in Powerlifting USA one time, one of my first articles was, what is strength? Just like, how do you define it? And that came about because I was at college doing a lecture for Louis, and we walked through the weight room, and I forget what the college was now, but it was a D1, smaller D1 school. And we walked through, and there's a record board hanging up on the wall. And all these other coaches are looking up there, and like, wow, look at that. 450 squat, 470 squat, right? And I'm sitting there, already been in the room. Like, that sucks. Like, lineman squatting 450, that sucks. So, and I realized our perceptions of strength,
perspective,
are radically different here. And so when I wrote that article, I made this loose observation, because I didn't research anything, that powerlifters at the time were nothing but a bunch of people that couldn't cut it in bigger sports, misfits, or people that retired from big time sports. Gary Frank was still, he was, he came out of NFL to come back. So they're like retired people that never made it, and so a bunch of misfits. But it fit, for whatever
fairly
reason that is,
Dave,
kind of their place or whatever it's going to be. And so I find it interesting that when I talk to others in, what do I want to say, my age group, demographic, you find that more and more, that's kind of where it is. It's just, and it's a weird thing, which we'll talk about a little bit, because one of these questions is about work ethic and stuff like that.